They
No,
say you tempt bad karma, but who knows? In this case, maybe you're doing the world a favor.
we're doing the world a favor every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. Today's Wednesday, so it's a wacky Wednesday. We're getting ready for the Freaky Friday, and it's a fractious Friday with freaks
Yeah.
included for no extra charge. He's New York Vinnie. I'm Michael Knight, and this is our attempt to take on the world. By the way, every time we take on the world, who wins? Is it us or the world?
Well, so far, I don't know. We never really actually tried to figure out what constitutes winning, and it's 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 not about winning. It's how you say the game.
Okay.
You know, I mean, what are you going to do? You just have to. I consider winning getting up every morning and just getting on the show. We've
That is a
won.
victory.
We communicate with people, and we get to entertain them. Hopefully we get to make them think sometimes. Although I'm convinced there are people out there that are brain dead that aren't going to think about anything.
They have
Uh,
this. They've taken the position that they've got the world by the tail, and yet
yeah.
it doesn't look that way from the with the casual observer.
Well, it depends on what you got, right? If you're a very rich person and you got a lot of money, and your journey is about material things. I got a boat, I got a car, I got a this, I got a that.
Salute.
Well, then you're probably very happy. If you're more of a have a bit more of a soul to you, and you look at things that are going on in your name, uh, and let none of us forget that all of this stuff that happens is going on in our names. We are, because the government is the people.
And that brings the fact. This is the reason I'm wearing this hat is because the good people of Italy said they don't want a militia that kills people to come to the Olympics. They don't want ICE there, and they being our government, we're going to send ICE to the Olympics for God knows what reason in our name, Vinny, in
Well,
my name and in your
how
name
could they send them?
by air freight.
Yeah,
You just
I
they're just
mean,
not why they're doing it. I don't know, but why? But how they do it is just they send them with the team. The team shows up and walking along with them were these masked guys driving unmarked Italian cars. It's funny if it wasn't so awful. It wasn't so
it's
deadly.
a sovereign nation. I don't know how they would get a troop a group of our um, s- um, government workers into the country. Now, I guess they could send them under the guise of protecting the Olympic athletes. That's always and then but they would probably check all their papers on the way in and out, and refuse to let some athletes back in the country.
There's a switch for you. Checking the papers for the ice guys. Papers, please.
No, I'm saying checking the papers for the Olympic athletes, the ice guys, when they're trying to get back into the country. The Olympic players, after, or the participants or the people that work there. I mean, there's a huge workforce that goes along with the Olympics, and they've proven it. They don't respect anything.
Nothing. Not
You know,
life. Not liberty.
from
Not the
from
pursuit of
human life
happiness.
on down. So if I were the premier of Italy, or I was running things over in Italy, I'd say, you know what? If you want to send those people, nobody gets in. We'll keep everybody from the United States out.
You all
We've
just
done
stand
it
over
to
there for a
Russia.
while.
We've done it to Russia. So the Soviet Union, and I hope it wouldn't get to that. Um, but
Well,
if I'm
you would think that it would be made clear why ice guys were ever included, even in the thought. What do we need a untrained, violent, well armed militia traveling with our Olympic team? Why? Why would it even be a thought?
yeah, I don't get it.
Absolutely the opposite.
Running around arresting people in the Olympic Village, is that what they have in mind?
Well, again, I find it hard to believe that they could entertain that idea, um, because it's in another country. Now in the Olympics, when it's here, what is it? 2 years it'll be here, right? 2 or 4, I forget. I think 2 years it'll be in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Then that'll be a different story. Hopefully by then the political climate will have changed somewhat. Won't completely change, but it'll have changed somewhat. Um, yeah, I just don't see how they could do it. And again, I don't know all the laws. I don't know if but it would seem to me that you wouldn't let a military organization from another country into your country if you didn't want them there. I mean, what are they going to invade it on the beaches of Anzio? I mean, what the hell?
And it's funny that the sport that is speaking out mostly against the actions of ICE and Trump and the Republican Party is the NBA, the National Basketball Association. Is I almost said the National Broadcasting Association. National Basketball Association has been stepping up, players commenting after games, making their feelings known, saying, even though, like Wemby from the San Antonio Spurs says, I'm French. I was born in France. I'm a French citizen. This is not my country, and I don't want to say anything to give the impression that I am not respectful of the nation that I work in. But this is ridiculous. This is murder. This is murder in the streets of America. This is not what anybody in the world thinks of when they think of the United States. And that's why I think it's horrible. That's why I speak against it, and that's why I stand against it. And many of the NBA players have done the same. Not the NFL, I've been noticing. The NFL has stayed rather quiet before Super Bowl. They don't want to get Trump talking about owning a team again. Thank God he doesn't own a football team.
Well, I'm actually kind of surprised. Well, I know that they are planning to send several ICE agents to Santa Clara. I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen it. They have, without a doubt.
Just to stir up the dust?
Well, I guess they're going to be looking for illegal alien football players. It's such a convoluted, horrible thing that they've done, and that they're doing.
They can't seem to fire a couple of people and be done with it.
And they're not going to fire a couple of people and be done with it. I mean, we're going to live with this for a while. They're going to move them around. They're going to send them someplace else.
Yeah. But
they're not. This is clearly a force that's being used for political retribution. This is a Gestapo.
Of all the ugly things they've done, this is the ugliest.
Yeah. No, Minneapolis has been horrible, and it's been proven that the people that lead, the people that's been handpicked for this, are just inept, uncaring, they're everything you don't want a leader of anything to be, unless you're, a dictator, unless you want to rule by fear.
It's an armed gang.
And it's just horrible. It's horrible. And I'm, I saw that, Bovino is left. I know that they started articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem this morning in Congress. And we'll see how far that gets. That's one that might get by, because maybe there's enough Republicans that are disgusted with what's going on to get the votes together to impeach her.
Well, that's a good question, Vinnie, because there's a couple that have spoken out, but there are so many that have remained silent. They don't know what they think. They don't know what to do until Trump tells them. And Trump's in Iowa lying to the people of Iowa.
Yeah, they only need 4 or 5. True. It doesn't. I don't know in case of impeaching a member of the cabinet, if the standard, the number of people that they need is the same as impeaching a president.
I think it is. And John Fetterman has said that he's going to vote with the Republicans all the way. He's told the
Well,
Democrats
I don't see Fetterman voting with the Republicans on this. I would lose. I would lose a lot of respect for John Fetterman if he voted for against an impeachment of Kristi Noem. I would have to say that he's totally gone off the rails. I mean, I know what Fetterman's doing. I mean, he's positioning himself, and first of all, he knows he's not going to run again. He knows if he's going to run, he's never going to get elected. He and I think, and he always has been, and it's one of the things that I actually like about the guy, is that he's really runs as a Democrat, but he's an independent. He votes the way he thinks his district or his people want something to go. He was like that when he was mayor. He was like that when he was a lieutenant governor. So he doesn't adhere to one party's dictum.
But for the last couple of months, he has, and it's not a pretty thing to watch.
Yeah. Well, he's not voting the way extremely liberal Democrats want him to vote,
or any Democrat. He won't vote with his caucus.
Yeah. Well, I haven't paid that much attention lately to what he's doing, but he would be. It would extremely disappoint me. And not that means anything to anybody, but it would extremely disappoint me in him to.
Well, you followed his career. You followed his career when you were in Pennsylvania, and you liked him, and a lot of people did. But he's changed his stripes.
Yeah, well, but see, that's what I'm saying, Michael. He hasn't changed his stripes all that much. He was fiercely independent when he was in Pennsylvania too. He's coming down on a different side of the issue than you or I would like to see. Well, of issues that you and I would like to see, and maybe the Trump people got to him. I don't know. It's entirely possible. I mean, I don't think he's thinking right, to tell you the truth. I don't think he's been right since he had the stroke.
That's something I agree with.
So I don't know what's gotten to him, and he's not voting the way we want him to vote. But his past record indicates that he is an independent, that he is a fierce independent, and that he votes the way he feels. So that's what you get with John Fetterman. You don't get a party line Democrat. You get somebody who espouses many democratic ideals, but doesn't always vote with the party. And that runs for you sometimes, and it runs against you sometimes.
Well, with the margins that we're working with in the Senate and the House, we need his vote. We can't count on it. And that puts me at odds with him.
Well, that probably put you at odds with Joe Manchin, too.
He is the new Joe Manchin.
In several ways.
In fact, if you remember, the joke that we used to tell was, the sun's coming up in the morning, it's going to be a beautiful day, except, Joe Manchin.
Yeah.
Hey, it's time to eat lunch. Everybody gets free cheeseburgers. Whoop, Joe Manchin.
But Joe Manchin, you kind of knew where he was going. I mean, you knew that he was a very conservative Democrat, even though he ran as a Democrat and won as a Democrat, and as a governor of West Virginia, he was still a very, very conservative. I thought that Fetterman was much more liberal than that.
Well, I think he appears to be. I think you're right about that.
He voted several times for issues that helped poor people, helped homeless people, helped homeowners, helped average people,
average Pennsylvanians. Right.
So again, I'm not excusing him for it. I mean, it certainly. He seems to be much more in the pocket of the Republicans right now than the Democrats, and I know that he's one of these guys that had dinner with Trump. Look. Let me go back a second. There's no excuse for voting anything right now for the border patrol or the ICE. There's no until they straighten their act out. There's no excuse for voting for them for anything. Now,
agreed.
Now, I will be disappointed if he votes for anything for them. I think it's just, but it won't shock me if he does.
It won't shock me if they never get to vote for the.
But from what I understand,
impeachment.
I forget who else it was. I mean, I think, and I don't know this for a fact. It's just something I saw, so I really should check it out. But I understand that Maria Cantwell voted for the refunding, or was going to vote for the refunding.
I think seven Democrats voted that way, stupidly not thinking that a week later they were going to have to reconsider that vote. And so I don't know if Cantwell was among them, but she wasn't by herself. There were 7 Democrats.
Yeah.
It just shows you how stupid a politician can be. On a week and a couple of weeks where we've seen these extraordinary violent events in Minnesota, and they managed to vote to support that type of lifestyle and that type of violence and that type of untrained militia on the streets of America, but just so they could vote to
keep the government open.
To keep the government open. It's painfully stupid to do that. And now they're stuck with it.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to vote. They're gonna have to revisit that vote.
Unless, again, this will get straightened out. Hopefully, this will get straightened out in the midterms. Hopefully, this will, that people are going to rise up and they're going to do something about what's going on. I don't
let Maria Cantwell worry about that instead of.
I don't think she's up for re-election, so I don't know that she's.
In that case, she skates.
Well, and listen, we could go back at everybody's record, almost everybody's record, and see votes that you scratch your head and say, why the hell did they vote that way? But as I've learned from observing this stuff, there's always situations where they're voting for something to gain something else. Now, I didn't read that much into it, so I don't know what the whole bill was or anything like that. So it's hard for me to say, but I will, I understand how the system works. It's a horrible system.
I don't know how it's going to finish, but right now the Democrats are saying they're not going to vote to keep the government open if the budget includes money for ICE.
Well, yeah, and it's going to shut down the government again. And I don't know that the Republicans, I don't know how. Well, again, the tide is turning. And we have a bunch of Republicans, and Democrats too, but Republicans that have no backbone whatsoever.
It's frightening how weird they are, how weak they are, how frightened they are, how silent they are.
They've always been that frightened. It just hasn't shown up as much in the past.
But you can always get an idiot like Tommy Tuberville to say anything. The other ones are being deathly quiet.
Yeah, there's not a lot of bravery shown in Congress. There's not a lot of people in our House and Senate that are saying, I'm going to vote with my district if I have to go against the tide. They're thinking about how much money does Donald Trump control? Am I going to get primaried coming up? I mean, that's another consideration for people too.
Oh, yes. Well, that is the consideration. Their careers are being held over their head like the sword of Damocles. I'm not certain where that sword came from, but apparently it came from a guy named Damocles.
Yeah, it's not a pretty it's not a pretty thing. It would suck to be a politician right now, I think. I wouldn't want the job. And
if you're a Republican, if you're a Republican, you can't vote because the president won't let you. If you're a Democrat, even if no matter which way you do vote, you haven't got the votes to stop anything.
Yeah,
Maddening.
I mean, you're, and again, thanks to all the people that didn't want to vote for Kamala Harris, that decided that we'd be much better off with this situation. This is what your non-vote for Kamala Harris brought us. This is
You didn't vote for the vice president, so just for that, we're going to invade Venezuela.
This is what people could see coming. This is what people knew was going to happen. There was no, let's see if he's better in his second term.
Nope.
You knew what he was going to be. You knew what he was going to do. You had to be a fool not to know. He told you what he was going to do.
They wrote the book, Project 2025.
He told you what he was going to do. He told you that he would lie and lead by fear. So, the people that are running around, trying to get FaceTime in the media saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry I voted for Trump." Yeah, well, you know what? You should be sorry. Your mistake has already cost a couple of people their lives and has this country teetering on the brink of losing a democracy. And it wasn't like nobody told you it was going to happen. There were plenty of people shouting that it was going to happen. So,
and to hear a Republican say, "Well, let's turn down the temperature," or what I meant was, let's say to turn down the temperature, but in an hour, I'm going to say something terrible about a variety of politicians or people that I don't know.
Well, they can't help themselves.
It's a sickness. It's an illness.
They can't help themselves. They can't, they're so indoctrinated in this MAGA crap. They can't, the people that believe in this doctrine, in this wild bullshit that's being promulgated by these people, they can't help themselves. Nobody can, you look at postings on Facebook or Instagram or the different social medias. When somebody points out something, they can't even answer like with the truth. They have to answer.
The truth is of no use to Donald Trump.
They have to answer in a way that not only may prove the person that they're trying to present an opposite point than wrong, but they also have to jump on the guy. They also have to insult him. They also have to beat them up. Beat them down into submission.
I snooze them for 30 days and then they're gone.
And I just, boy, I'm kind of done with that crap. I mean, I don't know what your timeline looks like, but because I leave my timeline open to people. I have a lot of people that listened to me at different stations on the timeline, and when I post something, or when I post something that has a liberal tilt to it, you got to see some of the nasty stuff that I get from people. And you know what? I block them. You got one chance with me. That's it. I used to argue with them. I don't argue anymore. I just block them. You're gone. If you can't talk to me in a civil tone without insulting me or insulting people, then you're gone.
You go. Well, I feel the same way. I've cleaned up my feed pretty much. I have a few in there that are mostly from groups, but I don't tolerate their point of view. They're gone. And I know that sounds intolerant to the point of being ridiculous, but I don't want them in my life, and I don't want them on my Facebook, and I don't want them in my computer. They're gone. And that's included some friends.
Yeah, no, it's included some friends, some people that I know and respect or did respect. I lose a lot of respect for anybody right now. anybody that can justify or try to justify what happened this weekend, you're working on a different moral plane than I am. You're
And
working
it's,
on
it's so
in a
plainly
different
false.
place than I am. Your value system is very different than mine. And if that's the way you think, the simple answer of he shouldn't have been there.
In his own
Well,
city.
that's that's the ridiculous stuff that
That's his city, that's his street, that's his sidewalk. The people who shouldn't have been there are the ones that killed him.
right, exactly. Those people shouldn't have been there. How many? I haven't seen it, but how many illegal aliens? I guess I know they don't. How many people have they arrested that are
The worst of the
illegal
worst.
aliens in Minnesota compared to states that they should be in, or that ICE should be patrolling, probably without guns. I don't know why they need guns. They're patrolling for illegal aliens, right? Most which don't carry a gun.
Nobody goes voluntarily with ICE. Nobody goes quietly. Nobody goes meekly. Nobody goes willingly.
Well, I don't know. I've seen people go
because you don't know where you're going. When you get in that unmarked car with the guys with the masks, you don't know where you're going. Next stop could be Texas. It could be El Salvador.
And it's been like that for a long time. My father had a number of illegal people working for him, illegal immigrants working for him when he had his gas stations. And they would come, but they would identify themselves. They would talk to the people nicely that they took into custody. They would give them a chance to call their house or call their wife or whatever to get their clothes. I've never seen one of these guys get violent with anybody or get even to that the point of even putting them in like arrestive custody. There's a kind of custody where you take somebody, you pat them down, they don't have a weapon on them, and you just sit them in the car. No handcuffs. Just now I know times have changed. But back in 65, 66, 67, 68, when I saw this, I never seen anything like this. And I saw it quite a few times. I just saw, guys that were respectful of other people. They realized that they were throwing out, that these people were in the country illegally. They were trying to get here to make a better life for themselves. And, they took them to, there's a special court for immigration and stuff like that. And they took them to that court, and then they were out in a day or two and back at work. Then the laws came in that made it illegal to employ. Always was illegal, but it raised the penalties. And then my father just stopped at that point. He stopped employing them. But I never seen anything like this.
There's never been anything like this.
Yeah, there's never been anything like this going on.
These are our own stormtroopers.
Well,
and they've been told that they're working with them with total immunity. Do what you want. Do what you can. Do anything. Call me in the morning. Don't bother me about it.
If you kill a few, the rest will fall into line.
Take care of this and don't bother me about it.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's crazy. It is truly a crazy thing to witness, and
we've never seen anything like it. We've never had we've
never had a guy like this as president.
Special dirty tricks militia, armed and dangerous.
For all the things that Nixon did, never even closely measured up to this.
Haldeman never even thought of this.
And we lived through Nixon. And
Now let's see if we can
you
get
know,
to Stephen Miller.
and I don't know if there was anybody like this on Nixon's staff. Anybody that has this just neo-Nazi kind of doctrine.
Well, Trump's first step is always to hire somebody who's not totally unqualified for the job. Give them powers, give them rope, let them hang themselves with it, and let them damage a lot of lives in the meantime. Let them just screw up the whole mess, screw the whole thing up.
Well, he
And that's what
doesn't
he's
care
done.
about anybody. I don't think he cares about his family. I mean, I don't think he cares about anybody. I don't see him. You ever see this guy posing with a dog? You ever see him posing with a cat?
They
You ever
don't
see
like
him
him.
posing with his kids? No. You don't see. You ever see him at Parents' Day at I don't know, where's this kid going? NYU. You ever see him
Unlikely.
at when Barron was in high school? You ever see him go to the high school or do anything of that magnitude of that simple showing his kids some love? Did you ever see a portrait of him and his kid or a picture of him and his kid? You know, his kid in the office with dad.
No, he
Saw
never
that
spent any
from
time at
all
the
the other
office.
previous presidents that had kids that were of that age.
Good point, Dan.
You don't see that. It's him. It's all about him.
And nothing else. There's one thing on the list, not two things. One thing is on the list, and it's him. What do you
Yeah.
want to talk about? Well, we always talk about me. Let's talk about me.
Yeah, let's talk about yeah. And you know what? And he gets other people to talk about him like that too.
Well, they honor his every breath.
Well, even the people that are against him are talking about him. I mean, he's the most talked about human being in the world. The absolute most talked about person in the world. Have you had a conversation with anybody in the last 6 months that hasn't included Trump somewhere in it? No, probably not. It's just this all-encompassing thing
It's
that
it's a terrible storm that's taken over our country.
yeah, you can't go on the you can't turn on a TV set to a news channel without seeing a picture of him. His name always comes up in normal conversation between people.
Because it's like a menace. It's a virus. It's a terrible malady that is killing the country.
Yeah, he's talked about more than COVID was talked about when COVID was.
And he can't tell Iceland from Greenland, Norway from Denmark. There's just a mystery to him. He thinks it's one place with four names.
I'll bet you any amount of money you'd like that he couldn't name the 50 states. That if you sat him down and said, "Okay, name the 50 states," that he couldn't do it.
No point in talking about the capitals.
Yeah, the capitals. I mean, that's a gimme. I'm not even going near that one, but just to name the 50 states, to name the states he is in charge of, and I'll bet you any amount of money he couldn't name them. He couldn't name
now. He went to Iowa yesterday, and imagine going to Iowa and having no idea where you are.
It's just all a flat piece of land to him.
The flyover states.
And he's and what was he telling the farmers? Oh, I'm going to I'm going to make things better for you. That's what
he's already done it. It's already better, whether they know it or not. They're making more. They're selling more. They're enjoying life more. They're planting more. They're harvesting more, and everything is roses.
Take it except from me. If you look at the figures.
Except none of that is true.
Yeah, but if you tell people enough times, they'll believe it, right? Isn't that the Roy Cohn thing? If you tell people something enough, they'll believe it.
Well, usually you can't convince a farmer that it's not raining if it's pouring.
Well,
Right now,
he sure convinced them of some crazy stuff. I mean, I'm sure that they know when they go and write out their checks for when they have to buy their feed and they didn't make enough money from the last crop to get them to this crop. They probably figure it out by then.
I would have made money this year on my soybeans, except for the tariffs that my president charged me. Charged me.
Yeah, and they're finding out that the companies don't pay those tariffs.
The customers do. The people.
Customer pays the tariff. That's why when you go into a store and you buy something that's not made in this country, you're paying 15 to 20% more for it.
Or you're in the auto business and you can't get transmissions from Canada anymore. They just are not going to send them. Nope.
Yeah.
Not interested.
Yeah, you can't
I
get
thought
parts.
we were in business. We were in business, but now I'm in business with the Chinese automakers.
Yeah, I thought we were friends. Well,
we were.
But you voted for that nitwit. So now, did you happen to see Carney's speech to the in Davos to that organization?
Yes.
Yeah, it was very chilling.
He's not going to play ball.
It's not. The world order is changing. America is not the shining city on the hill anymore.
Lights out.
That they're going to make deals with other countries, and they're going to, this stuff about being on, friends. Well, we'll be friends when we need to be friends, but when we don't need to be friends, we're not going to be friends. We'll be friends with somebody else when it benefits us.
It ain't going to be you.
And so you've taken a relationship that was the closest, most solid relationship between two countries.
They are our neighbor, but we are their only neighbor. We are their only. We share a border with them. Then they share a border with just one nation. It's us, and they can't trust us.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of wild. It's kind of wild to go from this warm relationship that these two countries have had for a couple of centuries here, and go to a relationship that you're not 100% sure if you cross the border that you're not going to get harassed, or you're not going to get looked at, or you're not going to get not allowed to get back into the United States.
Can't come back. Why? You went to Canada. They're our neighbor. No, they're not our neighbor. They're not our neighbor anymore.
Well, and it's interesting. I'm not going to say what company it is, but I signed the agreements that we signed to get the cars.
Right.
And I signed an agreement today, and in big bold letters in the space in the agreement, it says this vehicle is not to be taken into Canada.
Because we might not get it back.
Yeah. No, that's exactly why. That's exactly why. Because they're not 100% sure that they're going to let you cross back over the border.
Have you taken demo cars across the border before?
Yes. Yeah.
Because
several times.
If it's Canada, who anybody would think, well, we can go into Canada for the day. We'll be back in 2 days.
Yeah.
See you then, but not anymore.
Well, a place like we go. I like to go in the summer, especially. I like to go up and have dinner in White Rock. It's a little town just south, just the southern part. It's just over the border. and it's kind of got a California feel to it. You know, kind of a bunch of condos and a bunch of houses on the beachfront. Have stores and restaurants and stuff on the bottom, and got a little boardwalk, a little park, and a beach, a little beach. And
Well, enjoy that California feel, because the next step is you won't be able to take those cars to California.
Yeah, well, that's that might be coming. That might be coming. I mean, it's going to be huge changes for the for what I do with cars. Yeah, it's going to be different. Um, but well, I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about some news we got yesterday that Mariner broadcaster Rick Riz is going to retire after this season.
He's going to call her. He's going to call her.
Yeah, he's been traveling all his life, and he just turned 70 last year or the year before. So I think he's going to be like 73 at the end of this season. And
so they got a year. They got a year to figure it out.
Yeah, he's going to go on his farewell tour, and he he's so much a part. People have always talked about Dave Niehaus as the voice of the Mariners, and rightly so. He was the original voice of the Mariners. Rick was too, but then Rick left for a couple of years to go to Detroit, then came back. But he has, since Dave passed, been the main voice of the Mariners. And I think he does a great job. Not only that, he's a great human being. He's a good guy. He's as good as he sounds, when he's calling a game. That's Rick. You get Rick. You don't get one guy behind the microphone and one guy, when you say hi to him, when you talk to him. I've been close with him for a number of years. And it's just, I just wish him the best, man. People that listen to baseball in this city, in this town, in this area, people that listen to Mariner baseball,
gonna miss him,
will find out how much they miss him. A lot of people knock him. They say, "Oh, he's this, he's that, he's that. He doesn't call a game." Well, he sat next to maybe the best play-by-play guy in baseball for a lot of time.
He knows how.
And the great thing about Rick is that he knew how to play second banana. He knew how to put himself in the background and let Dave shine. He knew it. He knew that was his job. And his ego was such that he never got into battles or do I want to try to, do the things that sometimes happens when two people are working. And I can't tell you how much respect I have for the guy, how much love I have for the guy. When I got laid off at Cairo, the first spring training, I wasn't going to go down. I really had nothing to do and he called me up and he says, no, come down, stay in my apartment, stay in my house. And, you got a place here. You should be down here. When I was in Pittsburgh and I was having trouble, I used to call Rick all the time about working with, and talk to him. And, how do you beat this? How do you make a city or get a city to like you? When you're working with somebody, Rick had to go in and work with Ernie Harwell.
Tough.
It was tough. And Ernie was not friendly to him.
Ernie was a one-man show.
Ernie was a guy who had worked with somebody for a number of years, and Ernie was not friendly to Rick. Made his time there terrible. and he would stay on the phone with me. I could call him anytime, except when he was doing a game, and he would talk to me and help me through it. As I spoke to you many times, that was a tough. It was a tough first year.
Well, Vinny, who on the broadcast team right now stands to inherit the spot, or is there anybody that's obvious to
Aaron
you?
Goldsmith will, I'm sure, inherit the number one spot. Goldie's been there since the year after Niehaus passed. They'll probably have to find another voice. They've tried out Angie Mentink in the booth, and she's done a fair job, maybe even better than a fair job. I shouldn't even say a fair job because she's done I think a decent job. I think with more seasoning and the ability to sit down and do it more, that's a job that you're only going to get better at by sitting there and do it. You can't train for the play-by-play person.
It's not possible.
The great thing about Rick played the game. He had the stories. He had both. He could tell stories about Dave and about different players, and he was there from the beginning, except for a few years. But just one of the absolute nicest guys you'll ever meet. I don't know what he's going to do after, he'll probably get up every day and go to the ballpark anyway. Or maybe not. I hope he travels. I hope he gets out and goes and sees some stuff and sees a little bit of the world besides the major league cities in the summer. But he'll be missed.
There's a guy, no matter what city you're in, ask him, where should we eat? He'll know.
He knows. Although that guy is Kevin Kremen. Kevin Kremen, who was their producer for many years, Kevin knew where to eat. He knew every place to eat in every city. There was nobody who could direct you to a steak better than Kevin Kremen in any major league city in the country.
Somebody's got to know it all. It's him.
He just had it. He had it down, man. And so yeah, Ricky will be missed. And
when spring training
starts in a couple of weeks. I think pitches and catches report like the 15th or 16th, something like that. Full squads like on the 27th. So it's right around the corner.
So it's a Super Bowl for that matter.
Mariners got a lot of questions this year. I mean, they're going to, who knows if they can beat what they did last year.
It's going to be a tough one to equal it. Yeah.
Is Cal Raleigh going to be as good a player this year as he was last year?
Come on, Cal.
They haven't, they haven't really upgraded the team except to sign the big kid for, to keep him here, the big first baseman. But there's not. I think they're banking on a couple of their young stars, and they do have a bunch of good people, good kids that are at Tacoma that are reportedly are ready to make the jump.
Let's do it. Jump.
So it'll they'll have Dan Wilson here as the manager again, and I think he was a big part of why this team came together last year. So they got pitching. Are all them pitchers going to stay healthy? Are the pitchers who weren't healthy last year going to come back?
I was just going to mention team health because it's something that's pretty hard to forecast.
Yeah, and you don't know, but and I don't know what they seem to be. I mean, they have not re-signed Eugenio Suarez, and I'm not sure that they should re-sign him. So I don't know what they have a guy that was playing third base part time. I don't know if he's the answer or not, but he'll certainly be this. Looks like he'll be the starter going into spring training, and he'll
What
have
did
to play
Suarez
himself
do
out of it.
did Suarez want too much money, in your opinion?
Yeah. I don't think he's. He hit 39 or 40 home runs. He only hit a couple after he was traded. He really kind of collapsed after he was traded. And I fear that he may be one of those types of players that they get here and, they kind of fall off the table.
He loses his stuff.
Yeah. So he may, and they may sign him. They may sign him at a bargain rate or may sign him to a big incentive clad contract. But I don't see them giving him, anything like, I guess his agent was asking for 4 years. I don't see that coming down the pike for him.
That's a lot of third base for a guy that you can't count on.
Yeah, and again, he just looked at times he looked really good. He did get a few nice hits going down the stretch, but really didn't have a good post trade record to.
And he didn't have the best postseason either.
No. I mean, it's certainly stretching. He's a guy. You need power out of your corners.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of wish the Mariners would have signed Pete Alonso, but
they didn't.
The Orioles are into team building, so you can't make any predictions about the Mariners. I mean, I think they'll be in the hunt. I think we're basically the same team that they had last year. They still should be in the hunt this year.
And the big caboose, quietly leading the team with home runs.
The big dumper. But again, are you going to see as many home runs out of him as you did last year? I don't know.
The only thing that stopped him hitting them was the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he was still popping them in the postseason. He was fun to watch. He was fun to, he seemed to have a really good attitude about it all. I'm looking forward to watching him again this year. I think he'll be a fun guy to watch. Is Rodriguez gonna mature a year in center field? He started to get better as the year went on.
He woke up.
He woke up, and he certainly was better at the end of the year than he was at the beginning. Is the pitching. That's really the key. Are they going to have decent pitching this year? Are these guys that are supposed to be the wonder rotation? Are they gonna show up and
will they make a debut or a encore?
Yeah. Well, if they do what they did last year, the guys who were there, and you add in the spice of the guys that were injured, you'll have a pretty good rotation.
Looks good on paper.
And a bullpen. So the only way you can tell is by playing the games, but I suspect that they're going to be fun to watch.
And a heightened sports atmosphere since the playoffs, the Super Bowl. Now we're back to baseball again, and the team looks ready to compete.
It was the first time in sports history here in Seattle that both teams made the playoffs in the same year, or both teams won their divisions. So that's a good omen. Sports is growing up around here.
Damn right.
It's not the same little dinky stuff that when we first got here in 92 and 93 that we found it to be.
Where every team was in jeopardy. We almost lost them all.
Yeah, you were wondering if the team was going to be, and what cracks me up about it always is that the Sonics are the team that wound up moving. The team that everybody figured was here forever, weren't going anywhere. And it wound up being the Sonics that abandoned the town.
Well, Seattle said, let them go one too many times. Go on, let them leave. We don't need them.
Yeah.
Who? Oh, the Mariners, the Sonics. Who are you talking about? The Seahawks? No, we're talking about them all. Let them go.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think that people had been, they had stadium stress.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to. They didn't want to save another sports team.
They didn't want to save him at all. They wanted Paul Allen to do it. Let him buy the team.
Well, he had a team already, so you couldn't, so you got to get Bill Gates to do it, or you got to get somebody to do it. Well, they got Howard Schultz to do it, but then, everybody didn't like Howard Schultz.
That was not a good idea. He had 50 partners. Count them, 50.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
That was a mistake.
Just didn't. I mean, he thought it would be a nice thing for his stores, cross promotion, this and that and the other thing, and he screwed that up royally.
Yeah, he made a dog's dinner of it. It cost him everything.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because neither the Sonics or the Starbucks has been the same since. Although the Sonics, in their present constitution as the Oklahoma City Thunder Road, have won the NBA championship. I don't know what that counts for these days. It's such a weird league right now with the tournament and this and that, and I don't know. I don't watch it that much. I hardly watch basketball at all. I'll watch good college game if there's one on, and I'll get excited for the Final Four. But man, as far as NBA basketball, I just don't watch it that much. We don't have a team. You can watch, I guess, leisure games, and with the
check out Wemby with San Antonio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I like San Antonio. I like Popovich. He's always made his thoughts known.
Oh yes.
And was assistant coach with the Warriors for a long time. And I think he's a good coach, a great coach, and seems like a great person.
I wish I was in Seattle. I don't want to miss Dick's 19-cent burgers. Damn.
Yeah, what's that, Friday, right?
Somewhere in there. Pasadena's getting ready to do its usual. We invented the cheeseburger festival.
Did they?
There was a kid that put cheese on a burger and invented the cheeseburger in Pasadena many years ago.
Well, I never knew that. Well,
he didn't ask anybody. He just did it.
Yeah. Is there a particular restaurant that claims that they invented the cheeseburger, or is it
it's no longer
the city that they claim?
The city takes the claim because the restaurant's gone naturally.
Yeah. Well, they rent one up. Well, that'll be fun. Now, can you put ketchup and pickle on that cheeseburger?
Y'all can do whatever you want with your cheeseburger. It's yours. You're an American.
There you go. Well, no, if you're an American, you have to make sure that you put the right thing on your cheeseburger, or the stormtroopers may come in and shoot you right on your stool.
The stormtroopers do remain a threat to you enjoying your cheeseburger. But my advice is put what you want on it and see how it goes. Good luck to you.
Oh, man. All right. Well, what do you say we get together on Friday and do this again?
Will it be a Fractious Friday? I'm not coming unless it's a Fractious Friday.
I think it's going to be a Fractious Friday. I think that the people that listen to us will be pleasantly surprised about the fracticity of the Friday.
Get your fracticity and hold it in abeyance until we meet again on Friday.
All right, Michael. Listen, you take care. I'll see you Friday if the Lord's willing. The creek don't rise.
Say hello to Rick Riz for me.
I will. I'm going to text him right now, actually, when I get off the phone or get off this thing and jump on my phone. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. See you Friday morning.
What a wine. See you, Vin.
Thank you for listening, everybody. We always appreciate it. Join us back here next Friday morning. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube if you like us, and you subscribe to half of the crap that we say.
See you 10:10 on Friday.
See you.